Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing great today. My name is Mike Schenck, and I have been at Turnkey a little over 10.5 years now. So today I will be speaking about the October GP release. So let's get started. Okay, so the release was made available on October 5th. And you'll notice that the version number has changed to GP 18.3. Now this is only for the new version, so GP 2018. So GP 2016 still remains. I'm only talking about the newest version. This is an example also of the new versioning system that is going to be used going forward. So for example, this one, 18.3, will be this year's year-end release, year-end update. And then next year, it'll be 18.4. After that, it'll be 18.5, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be the new versioning going forward. They're not going to do the years anymore. It's going to be more, again, with the version numbers with the dots. Okay. So first, big news of the day. The Word template issue has been fixed. Woohoo! The issues with DocX and printing the screen are gone forever. So those of you using Word templates, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't use Word templates, consider yourself lucky. It was a problem for a while. It has now been fixed. Okay, so there have been a number of enhancements to this version. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the new features in GP 18.3. And first up is the change to the GL transaction entry screen. So when users enter transactions into GL, they like to add information and or comments regarding the transaction sometimes. So there's two new fields now that are added to the general ledger transaction entry window. And those are also going to be included then in the edit list and in the posting journals so that users can describe their transactions in more detail. Now you must configure the labels in general ledger setup, but they can, once you do that, then you can add information or comments regarding the transactions. So what you would do then to do that is go to your financials homepage, and then under setup, choose financial, and choose general ledger. So this is the general ledger setup screen. You'll notice down at the bottom, the two new user defined transaction labels, and you can name them whatever you want. Okay, next is the ability to reconcile all financial years from oldest to newest year. So each year then is completed before the next year is reconciled. And this will come in very useful for those of you with many years of GL history to reconcile. If you remember before, you used to have to go back and do it 1 year at a time from the oldest year forward. Not anymore. So what you would do then is you will go to, again, to the financials homepage. Go to Utilities, select Financial, and then Reconcile. And then what the users can do is you see there's now an All button. So if you choose that All button for all years, they'll be reconciled from the oldest year to the newest year. And again, remember, if you remember, prior to this new feature, users would have to reconcile 1 year at a time. That I think will be very beneficial. Okay, for those of you who like to use the Excel copy and paste functionality in GP, you'll be happy to know that you can now do this without running into problems when different currencies use different separators. So in earlier versions of GP, the Excel copy-paste function ignored the decimals, thousands, separators in the currency setup. But with this new feature, GP now recognizes the Excel copy-paste decimal thousands, 4,000 separators in the currency window. For example, if you wanted to specify period as a decimal separator for the U.S. Currency and a comma as the decimal separator for a different currency, you would now be able to do that. And again, it is by code, so it's by currency ID, and then the separators are there, and they will now be recognized in the Excel copy and paste functionality. I think that's big because, again, for those of you who use the Excel copy and paste functionality, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. For those who don't, and you may be interested in it, you'll know that this is now available. Okay, and as Diane mentioned previously, the IRS has changed the 1099 reporting requirements for the NEC vendors. It's been moved to its own form. So this release will handle that change. And again, like Diane said, it will also, the GP 2016 year-end update will also work for the GP 2016 GP. So to access this tax type, I think Diane showed the same one, but you've got the box there, which the different tax type for the non-employee compensation, and the 1099 box is one. So again, you just go to purchasing, cards, and vendor. Once you choose the vendor, you click the options, and this is the window that will show up. So in the tax type drop-down menu, you just would select non-employee compensation. And there is a mass update. I think Diane mentioned it a little bit, but there is a mass update available as well, where you can take your current, like let's say maybe you have a lot of different non-employee compensation vendors that you want to move over to that box. There's a utility, like I said, a mass update utility available for that. Okay, so vendors that have a doing business as or a DBA name in addition to the legal company name and want to have the DBA name appear on the 1099s can now do so. As you know, it's common for companies to have a legal name registered but do business under another name and the name that they want the customers to see, for example. And this feature enables the use of both the legal name of a company and the DBA. So to do that, what you would do is go into your, from the purchasing homepage now, since we're talking about vendors now, we go to cards, choose your vendor, and click your options. And the vendor maintenance option window will appear. And as you can see, they've added this the box for the DBA. Okay, the masking of the Social Security number is now available in HR on their reports. As some of you know, this was previously available in payroll only, and it is now the same in HR. So what you would do then is go to Tools, point to Setup, choose System, and click Human Resources Preferences. And you'll see towards the bottom of the window, you'll see the SSN mask button has been added. Again, if we go back, by default, it will be marked as masked. So if you do want to turn that on, you would have to go to this SSN mask button and actually turn it off. So again, by default, the SSN mask will be masked, Social Security number. And again, that was available in payroll. This is now available in HR. Okay, for the system administrators out there, they have not forgotten about you in this release. Running checklinks, and Diane kind of mentioned this as well as part of the year-end update process. So as you know, running checklinks can be a challenge since it was usually done after hours. So you can now schedule the running of checklinks to run at a more convenient time. What it does is it'll let users run the processes without having to manually select the checklinks process. What it does is it utilizes the report scheduler setup and functionality. So it will require that that GP is open and logged into the correct company. So as you can see, this is shows the window for the report schedule simpler. And if you look some of the different report options in there, they do show the check links for the different, the series. You can do a different, whatever series it is that you want. And whether it's scheduled, daily is a little overkill, I think, on some of on check links for sure. But you set up the frequency that you want. Okay, so the home page has seen some updating as well. Users can now customize and save the layout of their home page, make it for a more similar look throughout GP. And mainly what they're talking about is down at the bottom here. This is the when you go to your customize your home page, and that is a button at the on your home page at the top right. You can see it says customize your home page, and if you look down at the bottom, it says the column stack. That is more what they're talking about then. When you select that column stack, how you want those to stack up, this will follow you throughout GP, through the different modules and things like that. So that I can see it, again, it's for them to have a more similar look throughout all of GP. Okay, you can now use named printers with Word templates. So what this does is it lets users access the full one-click printing when you use Word templates. So you would go to Tools, click Setup, choose System, and then click Named Printers. This screen will appear. All you need to do then is to click the Setup button and select the printer ID the users usually use, and then mark the Use Named Printer when printing Word templates checkbox. So those of you using named printers now, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. If you're not and you would like to, again, let us know. We can help you with that for sure. But this is, again, a big help, I think, again, for using named printers with Word templates, because the whole purpose of Word templates, well, not the whole purpose, but one of the big benefits of Word templates is that you can use different Word documents for different companies, for example, which would also mean that then they would probably have different printers. Let's say if you had different printer stock or paper stock or something like that. So using named printers when you're using Word templates, I think, is pretty big. Okay, smart list editing has become much more easier. Users can now edit the columns on a smart list. So for example, what you would do is you could navigate to the specific smart list that you want to edit. And in this case, I just chose the sales, default sales, and then choose customers, and then choose the columns button. And when the change column display window is open, you'll notice that there's a new column with checkboxes. So again, you can add, move a bunch of them, add them, remove them, or I'm sorry, remove them would be the best thing to do on that one. So, but this is where you would be able to edit multiple columns. Okay, the last one I'll show you today is what Microsoft is saying. I find this a little hard to believe. It's the most requested feature of all time. I did not even realize that, but that is what they're saying. Most requested feature of all time. Users no longer must manually maximize the print output screen each time they print a report to the screen. Report will automatically pop out to full screen mode for you. Because I know I'm used to doing this. How many times in a day do you print a report to the screen, and just by habit, you're always going to the top right to expand the report to full screen, right? So with 18.3 no longer, but with just a blink of an eye, the report will automatically pop out to full screen mode for you. Again, the most requested feature of all time. Interesting. And there's what it'll look like. So any of you that actually put those requests in, congratulations. They listened to you finally.